do this quickly. I've already started editing some, and when I edit, I typically start with the first one, and then these are the settings. We'll just show you what it looks like before. So that's before, and then once I do, so I brought up the highlights, but I only had to bring up these a lot. Usually I don't, but this was a dark photo. Anyways, I usually just start with bringing the highlights down because I always, instead of bringing shadows up, typically, so I would go down on highlights, usually stay about the same in shadows, but in this one I pulled them a little bit. Let's see what yeah, a 0 looks good. Whites are down because again that, brought their skin tone that's blown out a little bit back, and then dehaze because it just makes them a little sharper. And when you dehaze and get too much color, you can bring the color down to where you like it with this. So I do that, then I come down, and if they're too orange or red, I bring the red and orange down in saturation until it looks good, and then I just come down and bring the luminance. I usually go about that far on all of them, and then when it gets darker out, depending on the background and if it's Becky's camera or mine, because mine's better in low lighting, I'll bring this up to what I like. So anyways, this is the first one. So I would command all, which highlights all of them, and sync them. When you push sync, this box comes up, and you pretty much have everything done except for the crop. You don't want to sync cropping because it's different per photo, so uncheck that if it's checked. And brushes, whenever you paint anything on the screen, it's going to be different per photo, so click off of that one as well. And spot removal, because all that stuff is going to change per photo. So, and then I would click synchronize, and then you go through and do them individually because they're all going to be a little different. That just is just everything. I do one thing to all of them, and that's pretty much it. Also, if let's say instead of selecting them all, you wanted to select the first ones that are similar. Let's just say 1 through 8 here are similar. You just push the shift key and click on that one, and it just highlights those, and then you sync those. I do that as well. Once I go from one direction to the next, that just helps my doing it quicker, so you can sync a bunch at the same time. I still go through each one. So anyways, that's simply how I get started, and then let's just do a couple. So this one's still pretty hazy, and typically, and it's a little green, like you can see the green bleeding into things. So I would go down, and sometimes it's green and sometimes it's yellow, so you just got to play with it. So I'll go down and bring both down here, and then I don't know if you can see my arrow, but I'm going to try to do this so it's easy for you to follow. So again, this is the same as before. I'll probably bring up the shadows a little bit, dehaze more, and he's going to be a lot more than him, so sometimes I'll bring a brush into this and just see what it looks like. So I'll click on him to make him a little sharper, which is going to add color, so you bring color out. Let's see, his blacks also and clarity over. Let's up the flow. This flow here is going to, like, you could do them really hard and then him soft if you need to. That's probably good enough because this is an artsy shot anyway, so I'll come back after my brush catches up, and it's still a little greenish, so sometimes you can take a little green out by taking the tint up into the purplish, take some of the green out. You know, and that's good enough. This is just an artsy shot, so we'll just leave it. I might take a little bit more orange out because of his leg here. Let's see if that helps, but not too much because you want to make it look kind of how it's shot. And then this one, this one's good. It's pretty much the same as the first one because you're shooting the same direction, and I just brightened up the first one more than this one, obviously. And that's good enough. Again, you want to bring their skin tone to where it looks normal. The sky doesn't matter at this point because you're not going to bring that back at all. That will never be blue unless you used a flash. Let's go to this one because it's in direct sunlight, so it's always going to be orange or more orange. So typically I'll just bring the orange down and then even go more blue up top, and then I'll darken it, and then sometimes taking the vibrance down, but not too much because again it's got to have some orange and yellows in there, otherwise it's not going to look right. This is probably close enough for that. So again, so down here in the bottom I'll push shift, clicked on, they're all the same, so then you just go sync, and then you're done, they all look the same. And then this one's similar to that one because we've got some orange going on, so I'll go previous from that one just to see what it does. And yeah, it's pretty good. I might bring some color back because it took too much orange out. And I think that's pretty good. And then all these lift because they're all the same. And then I'll look at it and yep, color looks fine. And then 16 back down at the bottom looks